stronger together.
All right, newly announced Olivia Chow speaking with reporters right now. Let's take a look and listen.
Join us so we could make our city a better place to be for everyone. Open for questions.
Mayor Chow, we all have to, a lot of us have to summarize the theme of everything we just saw in there, but you helped decide what it is. So tell us, what was the theme? What was the message from the land acknowledgements to the songs to your speech?
To summarize, the Indigenous way teaches us that we all travel in a journey. And in this journey, we are not alone. That we have people with us. And as long as we are clear where we are heading towards, and as we navigate together with a canoe that have compassion, strength, courage, humility, love, all of that, we come together, we will reach our destination. And in this case, for the City of Toronto, a destination where we have a city that is more caring, affordable, safer, where everyone feels belong. And this is an open invitation for the residents of Toronto to join us in this journey to create a better city for all.
Olivia, so this city hall, this city chamber is so familiar to you.
That's right.
So today you are the new mayor. This is the first day you as the mayor in the city hall. So what do you think? What is your feeling? What is your thinking about when you sign the declaration and also when you swear?
Yeah. Yes, City Hall felt very familiar. I've spent many years here at the Chamber, and some of my former colleagues were here, and my current colleagues are here. Walking in, feeling the space, feeling the trust of the people and my colleagues and the public servants. It was, as I said, a feeling of being very blessed, very honored, and feeling that I am that I have this privilege to be able to serve. So it was half happiness, joy, the other half being wow, impatient. Let's get to it. Let's get things done.
Mayor Chow, you made explicit mention of the Prime Minister and the Premier in your remarks today.
Yes.
And it felt like a real open invitation for them to sit down and meet with you. I'm wondering if you have any meetings on the books with them and who you hope to meet with first of the two of them.
I've had conversation with both the Prime Minister and the Premier. They want to meet. We're looking for opportunities to do so. And I suspect it would be imminent in terms of being able to sit down and discuss the challenges that we face together. Toronto is a magnificent place, but we could be so much better if we have partners coming together and tackling the challenges in front of us.
There seemed to have been a bit of a balance in your remarks inside too. Much of the hope that you had talked about during the course of the campaign, but also getting down to business. At what point do you get beyond the hope and imagination and actually start getting down to business and making sure that things get done?
Now, I've started. The day after election, I am already at work, as you might have noticed. I've met with people that are working together to build housing, to provide local economic development opportunities for residents in Scarborough. I've met with people that delivered crisis intervention services. I've met with people that deliver housing, shelter services, counseling, to lift women up, especially to make sure that these women and their children have a good life. And these are successes that I learned from, that I want to make sure that these kind of services are available all over the city. And I've also met with refugees serving agencies and agencies that serve homeless to tackle the crisis that we're seeing on the street, because it's a difficult life living on the street. And I know the residents of Toronto want us to do everything we can together to deal with this crisis of homelessness. Say that again.
What can be done to house the
What can be done? Well, the refugees that are stranded in front of Peter Street, we know that our shelter is full. We also know that a third of the residents in shelter right now are refugees. We also know that refugees is also a federal responsibility. And we need at least $160 million from the federal government to help us in sheltering these refugees. And immediately, we need the government, the federal government, and the provincial government to come up with a plan. It's a crisis. It's an emergency. There has to be a plan that can immediately shelter these folks. And there are a lot of ideas. The refugee serving agencies are very clear on what they want, and they've been asking the federal government to join the city.
That said, where does Christopher, who you mentioned, where do they sleep tonight? Where does Christopher sleep tonight?
Christopher is serving a lot of refugees. Christopher are opening houses. They're asking for local residents. Quite a few of the refugees are sitting on chairs because they can't lie down. There's no room to lie down. Christopher have managed to find a place, but what she's doing is helping others. And that spirit of mutual support is the best of what Toronto is all about. And we need to learn from it. We need to say to Christopher that if you are helping others, so can we as the City of Toronto. So can the federal government and the provincial government.
Mayor Chow, sorry, David. Mayor Chow, you mentioned Deputy Mayor McKelvey. Is she going to remain your deputy mayor, and are you going to add other deputies?
This coming council, which is next week, she is the deputy mayor. I've met with most of the councillors. There are more. I'm meeting with them, asking them what's their passion, what would they like to accomplish in 3 years, what would they want to do most, what's give them the most satisfaction. And I've also asked the city staff what kind of structure works well, and we'll look at all of that and collectively decide where we're at later in the summer.
But do you have a specific date on exactly when you would like to lay out who your executive, who your committee chairs are actually going to be?
I don't know. I don't have that date yet. It will be soon because we're ready to work. There will be a council meeting in August and one in September.
Mayor Chow, the IRCC yesterday announced that they're making it easier for Hong Kongers to work and stay in Canada. As someone who, if I may, is a success story of the Canadian dream, what are your views on this? And do you see the increasing numbers of immigrants, refugees, and of course from Hong Kong becoming a key factor in shaping various levels of election, including the one that you were in? And would you encourage and assist them to actively participate in local politics? And if you could also repeat that in Cantonese, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. There are a lot of very talented immigrants, refugees from Hong Kong. They have spent a lot of their time and their experience working for democracy in Hong Kong. Some of them are in jail. Others are here, many in Toronto. I've worked with some of them, and I want to invite others to ask them to take their talents and their experience and their expertise and join the city so that we could serve all immigrants, all refugees, even better. I know they have dedicated their life to democracy in Hong Kong. Toronto is now your new home. Come join us. Join us at City Hall.
Can you repeat that in Cantonese, please?
Say
In
that again.
Cantonese. Cantonese. In Cantonese. Can
In Cantonese. Oh boy, okay. 香港好多係為民主嚟做咗好多貢獻，佢哋有經驗，有好嘅志向，我就係希望佢嚟到加拿大，當多倫多市政府係佢哋屋企咁樣，可以為多倫多服務，將佢哋嘅經驗、佢哋嘅才能嚟到幫助我哋全個多倫多城市，令到我哋嘅居民個生活水準更高。
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your Mayor, I have a question. My business is located on Dundas Street, and I want to keep the Dundas Street no change. So because it was the way it is done on the internet, it's not valid. It should be only for the people across the city. So this is, and thank you. My another question is actually, what do you want to do to help the businesses in Toronto?
Yeah. Last question first. Toronto has a very good organization called Business Improvement Area. It's a joint partnership between the businesses in the local area and City of Toronto. You see many programs, whether it's lights or promotion or lighting up the environment, beautifying the area, joint promotion of the restaurants. I would invite anyone that have a small business in any local neighborhood to join their business improvement area, better known as BIA. And if in your area you don't have one, start one, because it's a joint partnership. It has tremendous, the record of success is incredible. That answered the first question. And the second question regarding Dundas Street, it is important for us to learn from history, to learn about the injustice and the oppression of slavery. And it is important for us to recognize and be able to not just learn, but to reconcile that past. This former City of Toronto have voted very clearly to change the name of Dundas, and I believe there is already a very complicated and very involved process in place to make that change, and I will follow through with it.
Congratulations, Mayor, on behalf of the National Ethnic Press.
Yes, hi.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Do you have any priorities with so many problems of Toronto?
I do have a priority. And even though our challenges are great, so are our talents. So are the ideas and the work that we've already done in the past, that this council have done in the past. So I will just be building on it. My top priority, as I said, is housing. And my second one is transit. Third is improving city services.
Hi, Mayor Chow. I'm Carissa of Now Toronto. Congratulations.
Hello.
So you said your top priority is housing. How will you exactly address that in your first council meeting?
Do you have half an hour? Well, let's start with housing the people that are on the street, right? So the refugees is a huge issue. We also need rent supplement. It's a Canada provincial and a city program. And we're willing to match what the provincial and the federal government are willing to put forward. And together, we would have 3,000 of units of affordable housing immediately, right now. Building it takes at least 2 years. We need housing now. So we are seeking other levels of government to support us so that we could take some of the folks already in shelter to make sure they have a safe and secure home, okay? Starting from that. And then we'll build housing also, of course.
Great. I have one more question, if you don't mind.
Well, it's okay, yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, what do you think your late husband, Mr. Jack Layton, what words of advice do you think he would give to you as mayor?
I know Jack Layton liked to quote Tommy Douglas, the father of Medicare. He always said, "Courage, my friends. It's never too late to dream of a better tomorrow." So let's do this together. And he would be, well, his grandchildren are cheering me on. And I am so privileged to be able to work with so many very talented counselors, very experienced counselor, and we're ready to go.
Thank you.
What's your message to the residents of
Hi, Mayor Chow.
Shelter Hotel who called on you today to stop those closures at those hotel sites until a suitable alternative is found?
Yeah. I don't know that hotel specifically, but I do know a lot of the hotel contracts with the City of Toronto is time limited during COVID time. And some of those hotels want to switch back to do their tourism business. So it's not completely under the City of Toronto control. And some of those hotel rooms, the federal government was paying for it. They have stopped. So we're now in the middle of negotiation. It's part of that $160 million conversation we have, but case by case basis on what we can do. The shelters are all full. Hotels are full. In this council agenda, there is a hotel that's near the airport that right now houses Ukrainian refugees through the Red Cross. A lot of the other municipalities have said they will not continue paying for the hotel rooms for Ukrainians. We know what's happening in Ukraine. So we need those Ukrainian refugees to have a place to stay. That's one of the challenges that we will be tackling at the upcoming City Council next week. And the recommendation to Council from the Standing Committee is one of federal government, please come to the table. We're ready to work with you.
Will you reverse the policy when it comes to turning away refugee and asylum seekers from city shelters?
The problem is that all the shelters are full. Until we move some of the people in the shelter into affordable homes, it almost doesn't matter because there's no room.
Is this arguably a violation of the city's policies when it comes to not discriminating on grounds of immigration status, though?
Yes. Well, yes, we do not ask people. We're a sanctuary city. We have these don't ask, don't tell policy. If you hear directly from the refugees themselves, however, they want a separate. They want separate shelters. They want a space that are just for refugees, but because their needs are different than other people that are homeless, especially chronically homeless. If we can have a space just for the refugees, they can access immigration help, they can access help in learning English, refugee support services, counseling, applying for the status. What they need is quite different than what those people that are chronically homeless. So it's very clear that they have said to us that they want different shelters, separate shelters.
Chow?
Yeah.
So, Mayor Chow.
Yep.
Yep. So,
There you go.
yeah. I like your address today. So it's
Oh.
about downtown Toronto, right?
Yes, it
It's
is.
really
Dundas
great.
Street
yes.
West.
So can you tell us do you have any blueprint on how to shaping our cities in the next 3 years? Can you answer it in English and Cantonese?
Blueprint in 1 minute. Okay, no. We need to promote this beautiful city of ours. We want to welcome the world to come to this city, especially this summer. We have the best festival, Caravana. The Caribbean Festival is coming up soon. Come, have a grand time, and we would all come together to promote this great city of ours. You want it in Cantonese? 多倫多係一個好成功嘅城市，冇錯係有唔同嘅挑戰，但係如果你講喺北美洲嚟講，係一個好安全、好和諧同埋好歡迎新移民嚟到呢個城市嘅。咁我哋希望如果有中國啊或者係香港啊移民係諗緊想去邊個城市呢？歡迎你嚟到多倫多。
So one more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about safety. So we're really concerned about our public safety, especially on TTC and also in street. So some residents ask for more police presence on the streets, but that leads some more funding to the police. What do you think about that? In English and Cantonese, please.
Okay. Toronto Police at the last budget received extra funds, unlike all the other departments across the city. Yes, they are involved in making sure our city is safe, our street is safe, but the police can't do it alone, which is why the City of Toronto have a program called Safe TO program, and Safe TO brings the police and public health and all the other services together to look for ways to reduce violence. And I looked at the statistics recently. It has shown it has worked. There are other cities that have proven this kind of methodology of collaboration works, and the gun violence and homicide rate have in fact fallen. But it is code comfort for people that have suffered through whether stabbing or gunshots, and we need to do so much more.
Yes, in Cantonese, please.
In Cantonese. 多倫多係一個好好嘅城市，但係咧就係我哋知道有唔少嘅問題，尤其是一個大城市嚟講，所以大家應該係一齊合作，令到我哋嘅城市係更加嘅安全。我哋多倫多城市有個叫做 Safe TO 嘅計劃，就係警察同埋唔同嘅多倫多城市嘅服務一齊去合作，令到我哋嘅城市係更加安全嘅。你如果睇我哋嗰個槍嘅傷人嘅事件同埋 homicide 即係謀殺案咧，你睇到呢一年比起前2年係低咗啲嘅。雖然係都仲係有大問題，因為多倫多係一個大城市。Okay, thank you.
I could just ask a quick question from my colleagues in the network. Toronto has several shops offering magic mushrooms.
Can you come over there so I could hear you?
Toronto has several shops offering magic mushroom products, which they're selling. They're illegal. Montreal's mayor has said that city's police service will enforce the law.
Okay.
What should happen to the shops here in Toronto?
I am sure the City of Toronto will enforce the law, and it's up to the police service board, of course, and the police chief, and I'm sure he's there to enforce the law.
Mayor Chow, I would like to follow up on the question on public safety. So as a previous reporter has mentioned, the violence these few days there are a few incidents. You mentioned about the Toronto Crisis Helpline in your speech.
Yes.
Is there a concrete timeline on when and how and when it will come forth and the funding would increase? Thank you.
Right now, I want to invite everyone that know of someone that have a mental health crisis, that they are not a danger to themselves and to others. If you have someone that have a mental health crisis, please call 211. There will be a team, highly trained team, to deal with this mental health issues. Right now, the service covers 60% of the city of Toronto. We are about to expand it to all over the city, but call us. We'll more than likely be able to offer service. If they are dangerous, then of course you call 911. But if they're having a crisis situation because of mental health issues, please call 211. They are ready for you right now. And
the last one.
No? Okay. Oh,
Last week, the Polish lady was killed on Queen Street at Carlaw. She was a victim. The Polish lady was.
Yes.
So this is
Carolina.
the neighborhood with the free distribution of drugs. So there was a turf war. So are you going to allow to distribute free of charge for addicts or not?
My condolence to Carolina family, her partner, and her 2 young daughters. I can't imagine the grief they are going through after this unjust and sudden shooting death. The local councillor, Paula Fletcher, is working very closely with the neighbors and the South Riverdale Community Health Clinic to come up with an action plan. I pledge to implement all of the recommendations coming out of those meetings and make the area a lot safer for everyone that lives and shop in that neighborhood.
Can I ask one more question, Olivia?
Last one? Yeah, okay. Please do, yes.
Yeah, you said in your speech that the city needs to find its swagger again. Where or when do you think the city lost it in the first place?
I don't know. It's up for you to judge. I just like swagger. I just like finding our feet, and then it's Caravana time. Being able to be proud of who we are and proud and move forward in our journey to create a better city so everyone feels they belong. That's my goal. Thank you so much. Come and enjoy the party. There's good food there. Don't miss it.
All right, that is Olivia Chow speaking with reporters for the first time as Toronto's next mayor.